sing and have some fun. We're gonna hear God's word before we're done. We're gonna dance, we're gonna shout, we're gonna learn what it's all about. 'Cause God knows me and He loves me and He made me, and so we're free to sing and have some fun. We're gonna hear God's word before we're done. We're gonna dance, we're gonna shout, we're gonna learn what it's all about. Let's go!
Hello, 2s and 3s. I hope you've been having a wonderful week in the sunshine and seeing your friends and family and doing all the fun summer things we get to do. Now it's time for our big God story. Before we get started though, who do we need to call up? Hamilton, right? So when I count to 3, let's call up Mr. Hamilton. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, Hamilton, where are you? Hello, Hamilton. Hey, you have something on your arm. Can you show our friends? Kind of looks like a rubber band. You know what you can do with a rubber band? You can sling it like this or shoot it like this. Whoa, that went really far. I wonder what that has to do with the big God story. Well, as you guys remember, who did we learn about last week? We learned about David, right? David was a shepherd. Do you guys know what a shepherd is? A shepherd is someone who takes care of sheep. Can you guys make the sound the sheep makes? Bah, right? That's what David did. David was the youngest in his family. He had 7 brothers, and his job was to take care of the sheep. As we learned last week, the Israelites were having a big fight with some Philistines. Remember, the Philistines were saying really mean things about them and about God? There was a big battle going on with a lot of soldiers. David's brothers were fighting the battle, and one day David went to go take his brothers some things they would need. When he got there, what did he find? You remember from last week? He found a really big soldier named Goliath. Goliath was really big and strong, and he did not like God. He thought he was more powerful than anyone. But what do we know, friends? God is the most powerful. And David knew that, didn't he? You know, Hamilton, Goliath was really big. He was really, really big. In fact, he was like huge. How does that make you feel, Hamilton? Yes, and that's how a lot of God's people felt. They forgot that God is powerful. And so when they saw really big Goliath, they were afraid. Should they have been afraid? No, because God is powerful. So when David saw Goliath and he saw all of God's people afraid, he said, "Why are you afraid? God is with us." So David went down to a little river and he gathered 5 stones and he put them in a bag. Then when he got to Goliath, Goliath saw him and said, "If you fight me, I will win." Now most people may have been afraid, right? Goliath was so big, but not David. He said, "Let's fight because I know that God is with me." So David pulled out one of those stones he had gathered and he put it in a slingshot. He swung his slingshot around and 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 let it go. And guess what happened? The rock hit Goliath right between the eyes and Goliath fell over. David won the battle. But did David win the battle? God was powerful and helped David, right? God was the one who won that battle. And David said that right away, that God was with him. David worshiped God for delivering the Israelites from the Philistines. And David told everyone, God is powerful. We can worship and thank God for being powerful in our lives. We can know with certainty that God's in control, that God is powerful over everything. And that means we don't have to be afraid. That is such wonderful news, isn't it? And this story reminds us that no matter how big or scary things seem, we can know that God is with us and God is powerful, right? I love you all so much, and I'll see you next week for our big God story.